Hey everyone, Shabba Gaming here, and welcome back to another random match here on WWE 2K17. In this one, we're going to be trying out another of the members of the NXT Early Access Pack, and that is, of course, Apollo Crews. And we're also going to be pitting him against Samoa Joe. And we're going to try the NXT TakeOver London Arena, only mainly because that's what the game automatically put in there. But I want to see what this is like. Apollo Crews is looking pretty good. We had him on 2K16 as a created wrestler, and I must admit, he looked absolutely spot on. But I think now, having just his, again, like I've said in the past, having just the way that he moves, just his moveset as well, I think he's going to be a really good asset for us in our universe mode, and somebody who we're going to get a lot of use out of, I think, over in SmackDown. I don't know why SmackDown is not using him a bit better, considering that they're a little bit light on talent over there. I thought Apollo Crews could have been a massive asset for them. I reckon he could be pushed towards the he could have been pushed towards the Intercontinental Championship before Ziggler took it. Of course, Ziggler now going to be a face champion for a while. It'd be interesting to see just how well he does on this game. Now, this match is a little bit one-sided because Apollo Crews is rated, I think he's rated 79, whereas Samoa Joe is rated 87. So Joe is on the upper echelon of guys on this game, while Apollo Crews is probably at the top of the mid-range. But it'd be interesting to see how well he does on this one. I want to see him do well, I really do. And I think, like I said, we'll get some good use out of him over on our SmackDown roster in our Universe mode, which should be coming up later today. I just want to get these random matches recorded first. See, Joe does have the NXT Championship at the moment. Of course, when we get into the Universe mode, he will not have that because Shinsuke, well, it depends if Shinsuke is still holding it by the time we start doing our NXT roster. Of course, like I've said before, we are going to be doing Raw and SmackDown as our Universe mode to start off with, and then we will start doing NXT a little bit later on. Basically, because the game is still very early on, and we're going to need a lot of created wrestlers to do NXT because there's a lot of new people down there now. So it's going to take a little bit of time, I think, to get that ready. So we'll do just Raw and SmackDown for now. And as I've said before, we're literally just going to go from January, beginning of January through to WrestleMania. Then we'll stop that Universe mode and we'll do something a little bit different. I've said before that I want to try and do a lot of different Universe modes this year, so I don't want to get stuck in one for any long period of time. We'll just do that Universe mode for a little bit of time, then we'll move on to maybe NXT for a few months, then we'll move on to maybe Ring of Honor or TNA or a little bits like that, just to try and keep things interesting. So here we go then, Samoa Joe versus Apollo Crews. As I've said, Joe is probably the stronger out of the two. He's rated about 7 or 8 stats higher, and he starts things off with that big Uranagi. Now, again, we are yet to see a submission win on this game. That's one of the things that I really was annoyed about on 2K16, was the lack of submission victories. But we've yet to use anybody who's got a really strong submission moveset. But Samoa Joe could be the first man that we're going to see get a submission victory. I'm hoping so anyway. And of course, this match wasn't suggested by anyone. This was just me trying to get Apollo Crews in a video early on. But of course, if you do have any suggestions for random matches, please do drop them down in the comment section below. I will add them all onto my list and get them recorded and uploaded. And of course, you will get a shout out in the process. Now, I must admit, I do have an absolute ton of matches already suggested in the hat. So if you do suggest any, it might not come up straight away, but you don't know. You have to be in it to win it, don't you, really? And of course, the more matches you suggest, the more likely one of yours will get pulled out of the hat as well. Joe with that big arm drag over the top on Apollo Crews, and Joe dominating this early part of the match. And Apollo Crews, they're sending him right over the top, crashing to the ground below. Now picks him up. In that, is that 19? I always forget what the numbers is. It 1916, 1949, 1922. I can't remember what it is now. Reverse Bloody Sunday. It's got many a name, hasn't it? And now Crews getting some offense, but Samoa Joe turns it straight back around. Now just wrenching at the head now as well. I have just been on the community creations for the first time, and I'll tell you what, there's some pretty good ones on there, considering this is... I'm recording this on the day after release, so considering that it's not been out for that long, there's some really good created wrestlers on there. I've got TJ Perkins, I've got Brian Kendrick, Lindsay Dorado, I've got Gallows and Anderson. I've downloaded them now. I will be getting the real ones when they are released. we've got some really good stuff as Apollo Crews just making Samoa Joe think about this, letting all the blood drain to his head, which can really weaken your legs as well. But again, Joe just straight back up with that shoulder block and just turn the match around. Joe now sending Crews into the ropes and comes back with that running forearm. Joe goes down, Crews goes down hard there. Joe bring Crews back up, but Crews reversing himself. And just stamping on the gut of Samoa Joe, bringing him back up to his feet once again. Into the corner face first. Clubbing blow against the back. And Crews now sending Joe into the turnbuckle, bounces back into that backdrop, and Crews now looking to get a little bit of sustained aggression now. Rolling Joe over into the pin. Only a 1 count, he didn't even get the 2. Crews went for the big kick to the back, but Joe avoided it. Now taking Crews up into a backdrop, folding him in half. Crews now tripping Samoa Joe and dropping a knee straight across the chin of Joe. And Joe, I think, is somebody who I believe will make it up to the main roster pretty soon as well. I think SmackDown is screaming out for a Samoa Joe, and I think Joe versus AJ Styles potentially at WrestleMania could be incredible. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens, I suppose. Where's the pin? 2. It's only a 2 count. Crews now wrenching at the neck of Samoa Joe. Wow, really twisting that neck of Samoa Joe. And now Crews lining Joe up. Couldn't Crews pull this one off? It would be a cracker if he could. There's the gorilla press on Samoa Joe. Hoists him up and drops him. And there's the standing moonsault as well into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Apollo Crews has pulled it off. Wow. That was quite a quick match, but Apollo Crews has pulled off the victory here. I'm not quite sure why the matches are so short on this year's game. I've changed the weightings a little bit to make finishes a bit more powerful, which is what it should be. And we are running on slow momentum as well, so not quite sure why the matches are going so quickly, but at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing for our Universe mode. I don't want the matches to last too long in Universe mode. Of course, we can change it a little bit with pay-per-views to make them stretch out a bit longer, but either way, I think this is quite a good match. Either way, that is the end of this one as well. And of course, as I mentioned earlier on, if you do have any suggestions for random matches you would like to see, then drop them in the comment section below. I'll add them to the hat, and hopefully you'll get yours recorded and we'll get a shout out in the process. If you have enjoyed this one, then please do hit that like button. And I'll tell you what, Apollo Crews does look really good, doesn't it, just looking at him. And of course, if you are new around here and you have enjoyed it and you want to see some more, then hit that subscribe button as well for a lot more WWE 2K17. We've got the random match series really going on now. We're going to have our Universe mode starting this afternoon as well. And then if I feel brave enough, I might try my career mode as well. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. That's what the words I'm trying to say. And I'll see you all next time.